This is a poem that my grandpa used to say when he was out riding, and I decided to learn it, and I think that was back in 2nd grade, so it's been with me for a while, but it's one of those that I can always turn to, and it's called Sierry Petes by Gail Gardner. Away up high in the Sierry Petes, where the yellerjack pines grow tall, old Sandy Bobs and Buster Jiggs, they had a roundup camp last fall. Now they'd taken the horses, the running irons, and maybe a dog or two, and loused they'd brand every long-eared calf that came within their view. And any old doggie that flapped long ears and didn't brush up by day got his ears whittled and his old hide scorched in the most artistic way. Now one fine day old Sandy Bobs threw his seago down and said, "I'm sick and tired of the smell of burning hair, and louse I'm going to town." So they saddles up and hitched 'em a lope, for there weren't no sign of a ride. And back then was them days when an old buckaroo could oil up his inside. So they starts her off at the Kentucky bar at the head of Whiskey Row, and winds up down at the Depot House some 40 drinks below. Then they sets her up, turns her around, and goes the other way. And to tell you the God-forsaken truth, them boys got stewed that day. As they was riding back to camp, packing a pretty good load, who should they meet but the devil himself a-prancing down the road. Says he, "You ornery cowboy skunks, you better hunch your holes, for I've come up from Hell's Rim Rock to gather in your souls." Sandy Bob says, "Well, devil be damned. We boys is kinda tight, but you ain't gonna get no cowboy souls without some kind of a fight." So he punched a hole in his rope, and he swung her straight and true. He lapped it on the devil's horns, and now he'd taken his dollies too. Buster Jiggs was a riata man, with his gut line coiled up neat. So he shakens her out, builds him a loop, and he lashed the devil's hind feet. They stretched him out and tailed him down. As the irons was getting hot, they cropped and swallowed forked both ears, and they branded him up a lot. They pruned him up with a dehorning saw, and just knotted his tail for a joke. Then they rode off and left him there, neck to a blackjack oak. So if you're ever way up high in the Sierry Petes, and you hear one hell of a wail, you know it's that devil a-bellerin' about them knots tied in his tail. Thank you.